Hey all, this is Urs, and welcome back. Welcome back to what is the final, the do or die time for our attempt here on They Are Billions on 100% difficulty on map 1. Indeed, we're just trying to shore up our defenses at this point, make sure we are all handy dandy and set for the last wave, which will come around day 92. So that's basically what we're doing. Our economy's in pretty solid shape at 1582. We got 2,000 colonists. We're got enough workers to keep upgrading our stuff. We got enough food to supply anymore. We got a crap ton of power. So we're in pretty good shape as it stands. Right now we're just doubling up on defenses everywhere we can, just kind of getting any ballista and edgewise that we possibly can fit in so we can go ahead and maximize. Make sure our titans are well spaced so we have fast response forces everywhere. I hope you all have been enjoying this. I know overall in the series, viewership's been a little kind of on the lower side, I guess. I'm going to chalk that up mostly on the holidays. But if it's not the holidays and y'all are bored of this, let me know, obviously. But there's a bunch more of the footage that we have we're going to post out at some point. Because, you know, we had fun and Urs and I were recording this for a bunch. But let me know what you think. I mean, like I said, the numbers were low, but like I said, people were on holiday. Numbers were low overall on the channel as it stands. So I'm kind of curious what people think. And there we're trying to decide whether we need to put it in the canyon or not, and whether it's going to be useful, because the canyon will block most of the vision anyway. So I would posit it's not a particularly useful one. That's just a backup ballista in the sense that we didn't want to let that space get broken through. If they get to that first wall, there's only one ballista there, could be problematic. And we're at a cache right now, so we're going to roll the clock forward a bit more. And it's definitely coming toward that that final phase. We'll drop more tents down, primarily, I mean, a little bit to keep economy up, but we're getting tight on workers. And since upgrades to GATs take, I think, 2 workers, if I'm not mistaken, we want to make sure we have a bunch more dudes to do that with. So we want to make sure we can maximize that a bit. And again, we're trying to be very careful not to block anything with these houses, because we want to make sure we have free run to every position with our response forces should the worst happen and a breakthrough occurs. We want to make sure we're able to stop anything dead, especially when there's tents in the front line here. Well, not really the front line, like line 3, but you know, we want to make sure that we can actually get by. So there's always gaps, there's always ways through, because if you block your way and there's a breakthrough and there's an infection, like you could be having a bad time, is what I'm trying to say. So all these things are true. All these things are correct. We must go ahead and do well. So there we go. We're trying to optimize spacing here, making sure there's gaps that we can run through forces everywhere in case we need to respond to the north, which we likely will need to at some point. But as you can see, relative to the map space, like our colony is quite big. It takes up most of the map at this point, minus the edges, which is kind of what you're looking for, practically speaking, rule of thumb-wise. Like, going tall, per se, is pretty hard, because to get solid economy, you need to actually, you know, have space to build your cities, so you're gonna have to go wide to a large extent anyway, and ideally, pretty much you want to have enough fallbacks, I think. Going tall is hard. I haven't been able to do it successfully, and put it that way. Not to say it's not possible, because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm that guy, like, no, you can't do it. No, you probably can, but it's challenging. Let's just say it's challenging. How about that? Meet me outside, how about that? Yeah, something like that? No one? Old reference? Probably old reference at this point. That's alright. Let me grab a sip of beverage and make myself feel better.
Attention. Building completed.
Fantabuloso.
Building completed.
Alright, so now we're just going to go ahead and lock in executors, pretty much one per side, one per front, to make sure that we're solid on that. That's kind of a litmus test. We'll do that one per side, then we'll start shoring up the ones where we feel worse on effectively. We haven't put any extra ballistas there, which is an interesting choice. I think we might have forgotten that. Another one there for sure. I'm surprised we didn't put one up here, actually, by the gold mine. There's already a GAT, but we definitely should. Thank you. Okay, that we need to shore up. We need to shore up the other one too, guys. What are we doing? Mama, Urs, what are you doing? Get your stuff up. You trying to decide what the executor is going to be. That's probably not the right choice, because probably going to spit on too quick, but details, right? Details. Wonderful. Day 87. Countdown continues. 5 days left, more or less. So now we're just checking to see where we want to shore up. And again, I think that north part could use some shoring, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Not Jersey shoring, just shoring in general. I would put the rear one up. Yep, I'd put one of those. That was the executor. That one for sure. You can go bingo bango, baby. Got one there, got one there. Probably should put a second one here, purely because it's a big front and there's housing right next to it. See, this is an example of the thing you don't want to do, I think. is having 2 sets of walls right next to one of your housing districts. It's not great. We were kind of tighter on space here. I guess we could have pushed out another district there, southwest a bit. We probably could have. Maybe we should have. One could argue that very well, that we should have locked down that area, that little choke next to the iron, locked down the smaller choke. It probably should have done that, actually, extended just a little further out. That would have locked that whole area down. I don't recall if that was edge of the map. It doesn't feel like it. I feel like we should have been able to build that out. These are the kind of like little ex-post reasonings we see that we obviously could have done better. And there's always things you could do better. Executives are coming up. You'll see our economy start plummeting because of the maintenance. That's normal. That's expected. It's a normal part of what we need to do. Definitely do that. Why haven't we done another ballista there? Is it because of the... it's because of the stone there we can't do. Right. But so far, we almost have an executor at every front. We have the Titan groups well spaced, so we're in pretty good shape overall. I'm pretty happy with this. I think we were pretty happy with this. We were just counting down the days, waiting for the money cycles to come through as the final horde approaches with slavering breath and all that other good stuff. Attention. That announcer's going to be real tired of saying that. The building's going to be completed there. So you can see the iron income is around 34. Ideally, you want 40 or above. I mean, it's kind of a general litmus test on that. Purely because it takes 40 to crank out a Titan, so you want to have like 40 a turn consistently. And anything above that is bonus to getting more and more GATs up. And if you expand well enough, like there are a couple places we could expand further here. Like totally, we could have, in my opinion. So, you know, we were less aggressive here. We're a little more conservative with this one because we felt like we had pretty good, strong points, except in the southwest. I think that one could be done better, honestly. That was probably the point of largest concern. Out of food. Ah, yeah, that's right. We were gonna get these houses and workers up. We're out on food. 54, 28. Really? Could we not do a better one than that? I'm pretty sure we did. There's a 40. There we go. Solid. Bark, 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 says the spider to the fly, or something along those lines. Yeah, whatever. Details. Hunter's Cottage. We're trying to eke out every little bit of food. Hey, 13 food. Yeah, that we haven't done maximally either. There's only a couple more. There we go. Yep. A couple more Hunter's Cottage we can put in. Try to get every little bit of food out of here so we can get upgrade 7. Hey, why not? Do it. Can't get a ballista in there anyway. Why not? Okay, I guess it could be infected easily. Is that the concern? You can do it on the other side. Just put the damn... Thank you. Good job, me. I like me. There, we can do it. Yep, that's exactly what I saw. Get that 16 on. Yup. Get one up there. But we didn't. Because we weren't looking. That's alright. It's okay. It's a boy. But now our friends are doing pretty solid. This is Mama Nurse and I are discussing as to where do we still need executors and where do we need more things. And either way, we need more money. So let's roll that clock forward. Day 88. Day 88. Death is coming, and it be coming like a mother. I would probably not make that an executor. I would make that an executor because that reaches, but we're going to make that one an executor because reasons, I guess. Reasons. All right, yep, we're going to do that. One executor's up there already. It's fine.
Building completed.
Now we're out of food. The food will come up. That place, I still think why the north is so weak there. It's so flimsy. We didn't put more ballista in there. We totally put more ballista in that row. That's so bizarre. What a weird choice. We're out of energy. We're like, what? Out of energy? BS. And the problem is that without energy, we cannot build any more awesome GATs. We need more energy, so we need to stick some more mills in here. And we even have more mill room, which is pretty crazy. I like that. That's the other argument to going wide rather than going tall. Mills are remarkably expensive. Here we're out of resource and we didn't realize. Mills are remarkably... let me rephrase. Mills are cheap for what they give you. Advanced mills are remarkably expensive for what they give you. So upgrading advanced mills just plummets your economy. It really eats into your cash. Where just getting more space for more mills is far more... I guess I'd say cost efficient. Resource efficient, because space is kind of, I'm calling space a resource here, which is not wrong, but it's kind of how we're thinking of this. Yeah, go there, I guess. We can probably get by on the right. Just put the damn mill down, down to the mill down. We're out of resources. Day 88, almost day 89. Oh, it's a coming. 3 days out. 3 days out, and pain begins. Ah, fantastic. I like how those houses are just kind of plugged in between mills. They got like windmills rolling over. It's a little Holland. You build a lot of those, it turns out, because If you use the mill strat, then yeah, use a lot of mills. What are we doing here? Do another set of walls. We're gonna start walling in Gats. Yeah, that front's not very well defended either. Yeah, there's a couple things I don't like what we did on this. That one would be one of the fronts. The other one is the north, where I didn't put extra ballista in front. That kind of makes no sense, in my opinion. But here, we're going to go ahead and put in as many walls we possibly can just to surround all the Gats. That's going to make us pretty content with our fortification situation. Fumigation. Oh, God, I just needed to rhyme something. That's what happened. Wait for the mills to come up before I stab you. Thank you, thank you. Still need ballista up there. It's just really funny that we haven't done that yet. But here, we're basically prioritizing walling in the Gats. So the zombies have that much harder time trying to get at stuff. And here, we're just throwing in walls to make that a much harder breakthrough. I could see that being a bit of an issue with 2 ballista there, and we might want to upgrade one of those into a Gat at some point. But yeah, it's kind of funky. Not gonna lie, that part's, if we moved out to the oil, it might have been better. That might have been too close to the edge and would have been tough to get ballistas in there. So you could argue either way whether that was a good choke or not. It's probably a perfectly good choke at this point. I'm more worried about the north and that we didn't put extra ballista down on, and a bit to this north or southwest where it's a little weirder. A little light, I think. Kind of that. I am more like the northwest, I guess. That one part where we only got like 3 things and 2 things firing at once. It's a little odd. It's probably just risking a breakthrough for no good reason. Here we got the weird too many walls rule, but whatever. Doesn't make sense to me. So we're just going to try to put stuff in where we can. Okay, look, random wall. Chew on that, please. If there's anything you can get for the zombies to chew on, they will just chew on the closest thing. We got rid of it anyway because it didn't look pretty. Wasn't pretty enough. The aesthetics were not lined up. My God.
Attention.
Power's back.
Building completed.
Gonna get the power back. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna make an executor here for sure. That's definitely what we're doing next. It makes sense. It's a narrow front. We're gonna make sure that whatever goes there gets chewed on by the Gat, and we're totally fine. It's pretty wide range over the water too, so we can definitely start gnawing off the zombie situation. I think that's a good investment. Getting some more mans, getting some more gold to maintain our economy. We're still at 1355 after all these Gat upgrades, so we're doing quite well actually. No problem. That's basically almost enough money for 2 Gats a turn every time the money cycle comes up, but obviously we're spending on other stuff, so we're more than well equipped to get this one done. And again, we're focusing on Gats because the last thing you want to get chewed down. You want to make sure those fire as long as humanly possible at each front to make sure things don't break. And we'll use that as a potential stopping point there, just so we can get units in edgewise if we need to. That's fine. That locks that in. And again, more stuff for them to chew on. Really weird because the iron, there's a lot of little like mineral gaps that we couldn't use effectively here. It's a bit of an issue with how we've fortified out. Nothing that we did, you know, directly, but just kind of annoying that we couldn't actually get full builds there. That's all done. That's all done. Again, double checking, triple checking every single front we possibly can to make sure we've got enough, because we've got, you know, this is do or die time, and this gets orders of magnitude worse compared to any other time. Honestly, this is orders of magnitude worse than even the last wave, which is pretty meaty toward the end, especially when all the fatties come around. It's purty. But yeah, we're feeling pretty prepared at this point. We're sitting on lots of nice Titan groups. We're sitting on, where we're sitting? We're sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 22 Titans or so. And in my opinion, it might be a little light, actually. But still, we're feeling pretty good about this at this point. We're just making sure our last little final wall preparations are on. I still don't like why we haven't put Gats up north. It's really bizarre. I think it's an odd choice that we didn't do that. It's a really odd choice. Not sure what happened. It's very strange that we just don't have another layer up there, but whatever. That's a decision we made. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out, eh? Oh yeah. So we're looking almost day 90. So then we're out, and then unlike the other waves, which give you about 8 hours to prep, the final wave gives you 24. That's basically the last chance you have to fix any screw ups. So you know you don't have as much tight as a clock. We should probably. I think we should put some more. Oh, we're just gonna go wall, huh? Wall some more. I really think there's a couple places where I'd be happier with some more ballista. That would be one, and the northwest, and the direct north rather, would be one. It's just really funny that we don't think that's an issue. It's really odd. I think we're thinking that's a breakthrough area, and it's not a big deal because it's not that near housing. We have another strong point with Titans, so it's possible. Maybe that's what we're thinking. Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure, but it's a little weird. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. Good times. See, this last part is just so stress-inducing because you really want to, really want to optimize what you're doing, but it's just like, oh god, it's tension building is what this game does. It's fantastic. Good times. Put that down anywhere. Just do it. Just do it, man. Put it down right there. Just stick it in. Stick it in. There you go. Good boy. The one poor hunter's cottage in the north, and you're looking through those trees at the zombies going, oh man, hope it'll come around here. He's pretty content though, I gotta say. He's got pretty good location. Next to the river. I mean, next to the lake. Next to the forest. Can't break through. Zombies apparently chew through stone walls, but trees, invincible. It's funny. Little game logic. That's what this game taught me, right? Are we really gonna knock this one in? You know what we're concerned about here? We're concerned about the fact that... Yeah, we're concerned about the fact that that's really close to the edge, and we're gonna hit there first. Gonna be a bit of an issue. That is very, very close to the map edge. You can't, I can't build all the way out, obviously, but ugh, nasty. What are we thinking? Are you thinking gat? Are you thinking another gat here? Really? Why here? That's an interesting question. Why here? I don't know. There's not really that much of an area of great concern. I think we're okay there, even if there's a minor breakthrough. Yeah, there should be another, definitely should be another ballista in a lot of places. What do we just upgrade? No idea. Just one randomly when it's selected. Yeah. Oh, put an executor down here to be safe. I mean, it is pretty close to the housing. I suppose that does make sense. But the fact that we haven't done there yet is another question. Yeah, see, that would probably be a smarter one. Overlap that a little tighter. Yeah, you know, either one would make sense. So dropping that executor down doesn't hurt. Very good. Cycle it forward, baby. 3 rows, too many walls. The rules, they make no sense. I mean, I understand the purpose of the rule, obviously, but just sometimes, just where some places are 3 walls, other places are not, it's just really, really, really bizarre, and I couldn't tell you why. Now we're like, let's wall this guy in. Oh, wait, no money. Yup, we broke. For now. 2,200 colonists. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. And you got 2 main cities and 1 little village up north kind of going, I hope we don't get eaten. Them zombies look nasty. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Warehouse working pretty well. Pulling stacks of stone. That's the only thing they're pulling. They're not pulling stacks of anything else. There's like just stone. Just stone, please. That's all we want. It's really funny how that's only stone. They don't change the supply numbers at all. Because they have graphics for that, of course. They have them for oil. They have them for wood. They have them for iron. But that warehouse only deals in stone. And we're selling some oil because we don't care. We could crank out some more titans here. It's interesting that we're not. I think Mama Ursa and I had an argument about, well, not like a knock them down, drag them out kind of argument, but a difference of opinion on whether more executors, more titans are more important. I think in retrospect, you always max out your titans too, if you can, because that gives you a mobile response force, whereas executors are there, you know, from day one, as soon as you see zombies, so that's important, obviously, but, because you can't be everywhere at once, obviously, with one group, but then if you finish at a wall, the titans can help out the other one, so I do think you should still be maxing them out, so we should probably build at least 4 more if we want to have a float of oil in case we need to upgrade something. But we definitely should be cranking out more titans, in my opinion. That's definitely something we're doing wrong. But whatever. Now we're using the oil for money, which is fine. I mean, that's at least we're using it. And again, we're upgrading these. The executors are hilarious, where some of the outer walls still aren't fully fortified, which is interesting. Yeah, it's just one of those choices that I don't think we would make now. But hey, you know, live and learn. That's kind of how the game goes. Our economy's pretty solid, but the other thing is, compared to some of our other game economies, this could be better as well. Like, I think we could have definitely developed it more, and the city placement could have been better. But I mean, there's so many factors like geography and all that. And here we're locking this area down, just in case there's a breakthrough here. We want to have a second wall to fall all our units behind, just so they can, you know, shoot down the rest of the horde. But we're fine. Now we're just making sure our titans are locked down where they need to be. All honky-dory and stuff. Make sure we're moving all in the right place, because the final horde is coming, and we got to make sure we're actually locked in properly. So now it's going to be the wonderful, where do we put all the titans, and where do we lock in? Where's the most dangerous spots? And there's a little bit of confusion as to which one it's going, but we're making sure we have west locked down. And again, this is probably why another group of titans would be handy, because having, you know, at least 20 would be nicer. I mean, we have 22, but having at least, you know, 25, or that'd be slick. That'd make it feel a lot better. So then you have 1 in each cardinal direction, and then 1 group roving to handle whatever major breakthroughs. Or if there's a really wider front, cough, cough, southwest, you can drop some extra down there, and it'd be totally kosher. We're dropping another executive down there. Okay, yeah. Because again, we're protecting housing, we're protecting command center. That's not unreasonable. We should have done other stuff besides that as well, in my opinion, but whatever. You can't really complain about that too much because reasons. We have everything here. Are we going to wall that off? No, we should basically just go ahead and use the rest of the cash to put some more ballistas up other places. That's what I think we should be doing, honestly, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Day 90. It's coming down. It's going down, baby. I have a group of 2 spare Titans just wandering around. And if you'll notice, there's actually 3 Titans in the middle of the map we didn't see for a very long time. Just sitting there. Yeah, those. Exactly those. We didn't even notice them. And I still didn't notice them until late. But they're just sitting there, not part of any kind of group, and we totally forgot about them until late in the game. And they're like, hey, look, more Titans. And I just threw them at something, and it worked, more or less, to stave off the wave a bit more. But that is kind of funny that they're just kind of sitting there kind of going, I don't know what we're doing. Yeah, I'm really surprised that we're not... Why did we not upgrade the north? That still bothers me. I'm trying to think about that ex post, and I'm pretty certain that was more an oversight. Yes, it's funny. We're just putting down extras here, and then we don't have full...
Oh my God.
There we are.
A huge
Billions.
swarm is coming. They are billions.
So it gives you the prompt to day 91.
Approaching from all sides.
And the new voice acting also there. That's an item of note. But yeah, that's exact. See, that's now we notice it. We're like, guys, we need to put more stuff there. It's hilarious. We're just like, oh boy. Yeah, there we go. Choo choo choo. Titans are moving up. Those 3 that are there, we don't notice, of course, because we're doom. What is yeah, there you go. So we recorded this in 2 parts. We had to stop there briefly, but we're back. And then we also found those 3 Titans. There we go. So now you can see they're moving now. We had a minute there, and while we were doing what we needed to do, I noticed that, hey, we have another 3 Titans. That's fantastic. So now we have 25 Titans. That feels a lot better. Still probably would have maxed them out if I were playing this again. But hey, whatever. Now we're using oil for money, which is not very efficient. Like, I honestly prefer more Titans. But hey, I'm a Titan fanatic. What can I say? People say they nerfed them. People say they ain't no good no more. But I like them just fine. There you go. See, that's exactly the part that I was concerned about. And we did catch it right before the last wave. That makes me pretty happy. That's good. So now I'm feeling a lot better about that, because I was like, there's no way that's going to hold. I don't remember exactly how this works out in the end, because it was that many games ago. But yeah, it's kind of funny how that's such a glaring gap, and we didn't notice it initially. I'm putting another executive up there, which I totally agree with. And we'll probably be upgrading as the wave starts pushing in as it comes. What you need to do, you need to, you know, have your outer defenses go, then fall back, then fall back, then fall back if they have any major breakthroughs. So, oh, that music, the tension music, it is rising. Gigachi ghoul. Nice, baby. Oh, look at this. We're ready to go. I'm going to put another executive in the narrow gap. And that makes sense, too. Narrow gaps are tough to staff appropriately. Like, there's actually a pretty... I mean, I think from a mathematical perspective, it's going to sound so geeky as hell, but from a mathematical perspective, it's an interesting choice that if you have a gap that's too narrow, you can't actually staff enough murder things there to not make them push through, because one ballista, even if it's a narrow gap, it won't hold as well as if the gap was a little wider and you can put 2 down. So there's proportion there that I found, at least in my opinion. I haven't fully done the spreadsheet. Such interesting numbers, really, but no, I haven't done a complete spreadsheet yet. But I think honestly, like, that gap is a little too narrow to be effectively defended, or optimally, because it could be effectively defended, but effective being not breaking through. But I think there's other ways to go about things like that. We're gonna lock that one in because we like it. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Yeah, that's gonna be better now that that's going up. Oh, the infected. They're so rude. Yeah, Titans are just rocking out now. We're set up, and we're gonna see where the evil pushes in, basically.
Nice cigar.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be watching the south here, probably. Yeah, controlling that push in.
Is it tea time already?
Yeah, basically, the way we usually organize our final push is that there's basically multiple groups of Titans, and everything else we've built, basically. So, like, snipers, Thanatoses, Rangers, and all that, they just kind of bunch up in one place, because they're more or less equivalent to a group of Titans at this point, as far as survivability, as far as damage goes. Thanatos are really good, though. That's the one thing I've actually found a very good use for, and this is the map that kind of made it clear to us. On very narrow chokes, like I said, can't be particularly well defended by turrets. If you plug 1 or 2 Thanatoses in there, their AoE is gonna do work on whatever's in there. So the narrower the gap, the better Thanatos are in it. So if you're on a very wide open map, I think the use of Thanatos is less valuable. But if you have a narrow map with narrow chokes, they're actually quite good. Put some walls there, put a couple Thanatos in there, and their AoE is just going to just own whatever tries to ruck in on you. So, you know, it's really a call on whether you have oil maintenance to spare, because they do cost 1 oil to maintain, right? So if you have good cash, then go ahead, just go nuts on executors if you're low on oil. But if you're good on oil, do consider Thanatos in narrow gaps. They will pay themselves back in value. They are quite good. 1 hour, baby, and the final wave comes. It comes. It's time. Oh yeah. So now again, this is again our final check to make sure we've got this as good as we can possibly get. Our economy is down to 1,000, which is okay. I mean, at this point, should we throw another ballista? We're like, just do it. Just freaking do it. We have the cash. Just drop it in. It's not gonna hurt. I would totally do it there. Actually, that was a good idea. Why are we changing our minds? That was a good idea. We're checking all the walls again, see if we need to buffer up anywhere or buttress up anywhere. That makes sense. Again, paranoia is what we're talking about here, because we're like, we're so close. We're so close. Just get the stuff down. Do we have enough? And it's always a good question, right? Do we have enough? Do we have enough? Choo choo choo. That one can't fire accurately. That one's already locked down. Yeah, we're just double checking everywhere. So that is probably the right place to drop another ballista down. And this is near housing, so it makes sense to drop another defensive structure there. Totally makes sense. Command center's locked in, so we're as ready as we're going to be at this point. Again, some choices I would have made otherwise, but overall, I think we've done pretty good on this. Enough to do what we're trying to do. We're using that money for walls. Really interesting. We'll lock that one in. Okay. Okay, fine. We're gonna get another ballista down somewhere just out of paranoia. No, we're just gonna use this for walls. Interesting. Okay. We're gonna drag this last 1 hour out as long as humanly possible because we're super paranoid. And like I said, if you get to this point in the game and you're paranoid, that's normal. That's expected. As we didn't lock this gat down. That's right. We're saying we need to lock this one down a bit. Can't do any more walls there, which is going to be of middling use, but at least we can make it a little harder for the undead to try to get to the other gat too. It's an interesting front there, intersected by a lot of war pits we can't build on. Funny stuff, really. Funny stuff. My machine is ready. Jolly good. You're going to move them a little tighter up. So, the swarms are coming. So now we know exactly where we're coming from the cardinal directions. So we're going to hit there first. So I would say those titans need to move west as soon as humanly possible. They might get hit there or there depending, though that place looks pretty good. I would move them to the wider front that we just built the extra ballistas on.
The world looks so tiny.
Pretty interesting to see where they're going to swing actually, because they might come from the cardinal direction, but they can swing to the weaker parts. So I'd make sure the titans are going to work through. And the one thing I would advise, once you start making contact with the final hordes, do make liberal use of pause. Like, I know we do it a lot through the episode when we're planning and talking, because there are two people technically putting their heads together in this episode. But do make use of pause liberally, because if you start seeing them pushing too hard, just that couple seconds you have of getting your forces over, moving some support, might be the difference between surviving and dying. So if at some point, don't just let it roll and think you're screwed. Just always plan back and see if you can pull it off. Now the thing is, some people advocate if you start seeing breakthroughs, sell all your housing. Suggestions like sell your housing districts. I don't advise that, primarily because that kills your gold income, and if you go below maintenance costs, you're going to start losing your military. So you don't want to see your titans start abandoning your cause, because that would be what we would call to suck. You don't want to do that. And we're doing some last second walls here, because why the hell not? I mean, we have the money, we have no time, so let's go ahead and roll this forward and go nuts and let the hordes come in as they may. Oh, it's time. It's like the final stand. I heard someone, or I watched someone, read someone's comment that this reminds them of the Warcraft 3 final mission with hordes of undead and demons trying to destroy the world tree and all that, and I kind of feel it. I feel it. The Last Stand kind of vibe, and it is a pretty cool vibe, honestly. They have the billions coming from all directions. Oh, it's so good. So good. A great machine. A great machine. Yep, I would definitely move there, because that's probably where we're going to make first contact with the Horde. And if it swings north, it probably won't, primarily because of that lake, or if it does, it'll be a narrow tendril that does so. Haven't made contact yet. There, I think
can I do for
it's
you,
probably
sir?
going the wider part than there, honestly. I think it's, yeah, exactly. I would move them to more to the center.
Your service.
Exactly what we're doing. That's moving already. Good. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen here. I'm really, really curious. I don't remember how this final horde goes, as far as where they push in and where they don't. I don't recall where we need to jump through. That'll be fun to watch, see how we respond.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. And the giant horde of Thanatos, they should be moving south, probably, directly to that narrowest point, because that's probably the least well defended. It's going to go right from the cardinal point. So that's probably where they should be. In all honesty. Okay, there's first contact. We are heading there, so that's absolutely right. Titans are in well positioned. That's good, so we're going to be able to deal with that. There's one guy running up there. Now, what you will see is a couple Banshees are going to run in and try to jump the walls early at other points to see if they can get an easy infection off. So if you suddenly lose and you suddenly see a bunch of your buildings get infected out of nowhere, it means you probably had a weak point where the Banshee could get through on them. Here we're just making sure they all focus the most dangerous enemy. You want to kill spitters and fatties and executives and Banshees as soon as possible, so that's really the goal there. Titans are making contact. Nowhere else has really hit contact yet. Here we have a little bit coming. So we're going to see that we're probably going to move them all down here. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's absolutely correct. I think that's where most of the fun is going to be. There we have a couple of... That's like, what, 4 or 5 Banshees and a couple of fatties trying to hit that one down. Which is interesting. They always want to jump over first, those little cranky little bitches. But the Gatling guns are pretty good at annihilating them, so that's fine. So we're making first contact there, first contact west. Got a secondary contact there, which makes sense because that is housing. But we're going to see effectively whether that's going to be pushing in or not. We may need to reroute some support from there, but rerouting from somewhere else would be concerning. That would be unnecessary. This Banshee's coming in there on the east. You can see a steam of like 5 of them. What are we doing here? Putting another defensive turret down, or putting more walls? Putting more walls. Okay, yeah. So we're saying this is a little tight, but we have a lot of firepower here. As long as we don't let them chew down firepower, we'll be okay. Like I said, the west here is broken into 2 major tongues, effectively 2 major waves. The bigger one does appear to be hitting in the north, so we need to make sure we deal with that effectively. And here we have Banshees coming in. Titans will be fine, but the question is where the main volume is going to go. And those Banshees could be just a feeler for the main volume coming out north, so we'll see. It does appear like that's where the front is coming. That's where the front is hitting. Trying to infect. You know, Titans are going to work there. That's perfectly good. So we have another tendril coming in there. Very narrow, so that's probably more than deal-withable. And again, just drop walls when you can. Even half-built walls are stuff the zombies can chew on. So if you start thinking about, oh, it's too late to build them, it's never too late to start building them. Go ahead and it'll slow stuff down. That area hasn't been touched yet, but so we don't have any support there anyway, so that's fine. Meeting Titans. That's fine. That's being pushed down pretty well. It's minor horde. And again, this is, our buildings being attacked means there's probably spitters or some good lord, what are we talking about? Some Banshees trying to go ahead and hit some of the towers already, jumping over the walls, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's see. So far, everything is holding. We had contact everywhere except the north, which is an interesting part of this whole thing. But here, we've got our units coming in. The Banshees are being dealt with pretty effectively by the defenses, and that is going to be dealt with. It's a very minor front there, so that's not a big deal. There's a minor front breaking off there, but also not a big deal. The fact that they're breaking off into different angles is actually quite beneficial for us. We're not too worried at this point, simply because it's running into multiple layers of defense rather than pushing all on one, so that's pretty good. And this little narrow tendril is going to get annihilated there. It's going to be pretty fun to see the GAT just chewing up zombies as they run forward. There's no way they're going to be able to push through that. Extra money, again, like I said, making liberal use of the pause button is always smart. You can always put... We're very concerned here because we think the north is going to be really painful. And this is a part that we had completely neglected to defend before. But right there, yeah, there's room. Oh, we can't do it. Ah, that's funny. Where are we going to put a free executor at this late? I don't know where we're thinking of doing this. Because this one, unlike walls, like, if it's not firing, it's kind of useless. We're going to do it there. We decided this is a wide front now, a matter of concern. A matter of utmost concern. Yeah, so just upgrade one of these damn things. Be upgrading front one? I won't be doing a front one, though. I'd probably put another executor in there. We can't put it there. There's no free areas. We put it there. That's not going to be too helpful. Wow. Our indecisiveness is painful. We're going to do that one? Are we actually going to do that one? Alright, good job. Would not have done it. But okay. Probably would have gotten rid of one of the walls back there, put the executor down in the front, and put another wall back there, but okay. Again, the 3-wall rule here is being weird. The other thing is I do want to mention, if you're thinking about whether to upgrade or put something fresh down, as something is upgrading, it's still using its original functionality. So as your ballistas are upgrading to executors, they still fire as ballistas. They don't just take a break for maintenance or whatever. So it's totally fine. Like, they'll be totally fine. Don't be afraid to upgrade. You won't lose anything. Is it tea time already? It's not, but that's alright. So far, all the waves are being held effectively. Haven't made contact with the north yet, because that is the furthest from the map edge that we are. But so far, it looks like we're handling most of the frontage.
Oh dear.
Very good. And now we're finally seeing the northern wave, and it's going to push there, which makes sense. It's pushing on the housing. So at this point, we're going shit, 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 shit. We should have moved it there initially. So we need to roll our Titans. We're not worried about that side at all, because it's a fallback. That needs to be handled ASAP. So we need to get our Titans into that narrow front and start working. So get your butts there. Yeah, you need to move there, buddy. That's the biggest concern right now. Very good. Okay, so that's being handled now. That wave is already fading, so we're trying to already think about shifting. The good part about this, they broke into a lot of little tendrils here, so there's a lot of fronts which aren't handling the brunt. The southern brunt is definitely hitting there, so glad we have all our units there. These Titans aren't doing too much at the moment, so we're going to move them forward to try to maul that wave down. The number of gats we have on the western side of that is okay. Titans should definitely be going there and firing as hard as possible to prevent that breakthrough from happening. Because at one point, there's only just a Tesla stopping stuff, so we might break up the numbers too a little bit. So we should send a couple west, couple south, and it should be fine. That front's basically being worked on by the... As soon as the Thanatos start unloading the rockets, you'll see that start fading considerably. So far, you don't see any major pushes on the walls. We don't see a lot of spitters yet, so that's also helping the fact that we are able to hold the walls off pretty effectively. And then the Thanatoses start doing their rockets, and that's when things get pretty for the south side. Now, the north side, that definitely looks like where the major front is coming. Already pushing some of the Titans up there because the south isn't an issue. That north looks scary, and there's a lot of Banshees running in, so they're going to try to get some spot infections off. We should be able to handle them, which is the Ballista. Here, the Thanatoses are working pretty hard. Yeah, this is why narrow fronts plus... This is the part of the mission where we're like, narrow front plus Thanatos. It works. The other fronts are basically a joke at this point. That's getting mauled by Gatling guns. That's getting mauled by Gatling guns. Not a concern. Titans are walking that one down. Yeah, so far, all this is looking pretty good. The part of greatest concern is probably... Yeah, here we're saying we're not going to have Titan support, so probably might as well wall these in so they come in from the back. They're not going to manage to catch us unawares. Just lock that in a bit. Make sure that... Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No Titans there anyway. We won't need to shift too much. If we need to move, we will. But that's getting some more walls to slow stuff down with. Titans are moving to the north, which is probably the area of greatest concerns, the highest concentration and nearest some housing. So that's obviously a bit... You guys are working pretty well. We're just checking health values and all the stuff to see where it's getting pushed. That's getting pushed the hardest, though, clearly. That's a very smart move on their part, obviously, because that's going to be an issue. But right now we're mauling down pretty well, so ballistas are working. Everything's working pretty well. That one front in the northeast that we fortified to death, not particularly useful. There's a little tendril coming in with like one fatty leading the charge. That's really not going to do anything to us. This one hasn't been touched, practically speaking, because we have a Gatling gun just chewing anything coming through there. That's narrow enough to be held effectively. We're trying to see if there's an end to any of these so we can start relocating Titans. So far we're doing pretty good. Everything is looking pretty solid. That front has not been touched yet, so it looks like not going to be touched. That one is getting a little touchy. That's a big fist coming that way. So this is at which point we're watching the south, I think, making sure that we can back up our units effectively. Are we moving back already? Oh, we are. Okay. Yeah, we're afraid they're going to break through the wall. Yep, that was the exact right time to do that in. Hilarious. And that's being pushed as well, and that makes sense because we have, you know, backups that way. That Titan's not doing anything, which is embarrassing. Should be doing that. We have another Titan aiding that particular side, and so far that looks pretty good. The western wall looks pretty solid. That might be fading pretty hard. We might need to relocate those guys pretty soon. I think we did that already. Did we do that already? We have a group of 3 of them selecting off. Let's see. No, we're still pushing that west. Make sure that gets dealt with before we relocate the defenses. So far we're doing pretty good. We're holding more or less. I think the west is running out of steam.
At your service.
Which absolutely makes sense. I mean, that is where we had a group of 5 Titans, which does work. And so far, so good. So far, so good. Just making sure we're still covering, we're still healthy. Yep, that's getting pushed in. That's still the most dangerous. But, again, that's probably the right choice. Definitely the right choice, because that's a big wave trying to push into that narrow spot. We want to make sure they can't break through, because if they get into housing, we're in trouble. That wave is more or less spent. We have just nothing but spitters left. As soon as that goes away, we're probably going to shift those Titans somewhere else. We're probably already thinking about doing so. Yeah, that's already broken through. You see the wall gone there. So we're going to take a step back and make sure we don't die. And that's going to get dealt with and chewed up with those defenses. So here we're still doing, we got a group of 5 Titans. Can't really get more in there at the moment. We're going to move them closer, though, so they can actually fire more effectively. There, so now they're actually going to start bringing their guns to bear, which is solid. Yeah, that western front's already handled, so that tendril's done. So, like I said, as soon as you see these fronts get handled, you move your units away. There's matters of very little concern, and then start reinforcing places where there is still a considerable horde incoming. And that's probably the biggest example of that, but our Titans are doing work there. That other northern front's being handled effectively. That looks like it's petering out already in the back. That's been pretty solid. The east is petered out, so these can definitely relocate. There's nothing left here. These need to relocate. So we handled basically southeast.
Let's go.
Effectively, north is still an issue. West is almost done as well. North is really where the big push is. You can still see a lot of undead sitting around, and we're definitely relocating forces that way. But we're at this point, my mercs and I are feeling pretty damn good. A little bit of west still needs some help, because I think a bit of north broke off and went in there, honestly, because it looks like they're trying to push a little harder. And that's probably the closest over there they came to breaking through. They already went through a wall that way. That got dealt with. We have a couple more Titans down here not doing anything.
My machine is ready.
The south is done. Gonna relocate these guys. Yep, that got done. Those guys are too slow to move anywhere effectively. I'm gonna go ahead and shore up some defenses that way. And then once that gets done, we'll shift north and try to block that off. But so far, we're feeling pretty solid. See, look at all the zombies in there. Look at this. They're just, like, pocketed in there. It's so weird.
Excuse me.
And those ballistas are just going to enjoy mauling all that. It's hilarious. I don't know, they just poured that one narrow gap, and then not many of them can punch the ballista at the same time. So it's looking pretty solid.
Not sleeping, just resting my eyes.
So we're going to move some units up here, but I don't think they're going to get in here in time to join in the slaughter. We're just like, that'd be a nice Thanatos target practice inside there, but the Titans are going to chew that up pretty quick. Just a murder pit. All right, Titans have locked that narrow area down, as you can see. So that gat is going to stay up. Might be the most heroic gat in the world. And that, my friends, dear viewers, is how you beat a map. 2 layers of defense. At this point, Mama Earth and I, did we just win? And we totally did. We totally did. So, at 100% score factor, 100 days survived, only lost 11 soldiers, and that, my friends, unlocks the Peaceful Lowlands for us. This is how we unlocked it. So, hey, there you go. As you can see, playing a little suboptimally, you can still win. And looking to make the right decisions in the end. So, join us next time. Let me know if you want to see more of this, because we do have the new maps incoming. Now I can say that freely. We do have the Peaceful Lowlands coming up next. If you do want to see that, let me know. I think this is a lot of fun for us to play and show what Mama Earth and I can do together. So, hopefully you have them too. I'll see you all next time. Till then.